A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. HMP Winchester, a Victorian-era prison in Hampshire, has been placed under emergency measures following a damning inspection report that highlighted severe safety and security concerns. The prison, which currently houses approximately 690 inmates, has been labeled as one of the most unsafe jails in the country by HM Deputy Chief Inspector Martin Lomas. The urgent notification issued to Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood outlines appalling living conditions, systemic failings, and a crisis that has been developing over many years. This marks the 9th prison to be put into emergency measures in just 2 years, raising alarms about the state of the UK prison system. Inspectors found that HMP Winchester had the highest rate of serious assaults against staff among all reception jails in England and Wales, alongside the second highest rate of assaults between inmates. The alarming levels of violence have been attributed to rampant drug use, financial debts among inmates, and growing frustration due to the prison's inadequate facilities. A staggering 41% of inmates tested positive for drugs, with many reporting that obtaining illicit substances was alarmingly easy. The conditions within the prison have been described as dilapidated, neglected, and filthy. Many cells were found to be damp and moldy, leading inspectors to question whether they were fit for habitation. New inmates, some spending their first night in prison, were forced to endure cold cells plastered with offensive graffiti and furnished with broken or missing items. In an extraordinary lapse of security, one inmate was even able to remove his own cell door, a clear indication of the prison's crumbling infrastructure. Significant repairs, such as fixing leaking roofs and broken windows, have been outstanding since 2022. Earlier this year, the Independent Monitoring Board uncovered rat infestations and degraded brickwork, with prisoners reportedly using plastic cutlery to dig through walls. The latest report also revealed that most inmates were locked in their cells for over 21 hours a day, often with limited opportunities for purposeful activities. Mr. Lomas emphasized that the state of Winchester Prison had deteriorated to such an extent that issuing an urgent notification was the only option left. He pointed to systemic failings under the oversight of the HM Prison and Probation Service and the Ministry of Justice, stating that sustained investment and support were crucial for improving living conditions, ensuring prisoner safety, and equipping inmates with the skills needed for reintegration into society. Andrea Coomer KC, Chief Executive of the Howard League for Penal Reform, criticized the prison's operations, stating that it was a facility so broken that it could not adequately serve its purpose. She highlighted the overcrowding issue, noting that while the prison had capacity for fewer than 450 men, it was forced to accommodate over 600. The consequences of such overcrowding, coupled with the appalling conditions, have led to rampant violence, drug use, and self-harm among inmates. Mark Day, Deputy Director of the Prison Reform Trust, echoed these sentiments, attributing the crisis to systemic failings within the government. He pointed to a recent sentencing review that signaled a growing recognition at the highest levels of government that a radical change in the approach to imprisonment is necessary. In response to the findings, Prisons Minister Lord Timpson acknowledged the scale of the crisis inherited by the current government and emphasized the need for immediate action to address overcrowding in prisons. The government has committed to building 14,000 additional prison places and has initiated a landmark review of sentencing to prevent such dire situations from recurring in the future. He assured that an action plan would be published in the coming weeks to support staff in implementing necessary improvements at HMP Winchester. This urgent notification follows closely on the heels of a similar situation at HMP Manchester, which was also placed under emergency measures due to deteriorating conditions. The recent spate of urgent notifications raises serious questions about the management and oversight of the UK prison system, as well as the government's ability to ensure the safety and rehabilitation of inmates. As calls for reform grow louder, it remains to be seen how the government will address these pressing issues and restore faith in the nation's penal system. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.